Hi guys, welcome back to Dadlicious Eats, and today we're going to be turning this into this and then into this delicious Chinese black bean lobster noodles. Right, so let's get cracking. So it's my wife's birthday and she absolutely loves lobster, so that's what we're having for dinner. So the first thing we need to do is take this live lobster and make it so it's not quite so live. And to do that, we're going to pierce the back of its head with a very sharp knife. This is actually the most painless way for a lobster to be killed, rather than freezing it or boiling it by penetrating the back of its neck here. This will instantly kill it, so it won't feel a thing. There we go, as easy as that. Once your lobster's been dispatched, we then want to get it ready for the pot. So all we're going to do is cut off the elastic bands around the claws, and then it's ready to go. So here I'm going to predominantly steam the boiler, so I've got a couple of inches worth of water that's come up to boil, and I just pop the lobster straight into the pot. And we want to steam this for about 10 minutes a pound, which is about 10 minutes for half a kilo or so. So this lobster took, I think, 18 minutes to steam, and it should come out nice and red. So as I said earlier, we are going to be making a Chinese dish here, so black bean lobster noodles. So in order to do that, we want to prepare the lobster and we want to essentially take it apart. So easiest way to do this is pull off the claws first of all, and then split the body from the head. This green stuff inside is basically its insides, and you want to make sure that you clean those. You definitely don't want to be eating that. So what we want to do is make sure we've got reasonable sized pieces for when we cook the noodle dish. So we're going to cut up the tail. We probably want that into sort of 3 or 4 pieces. Need a nice sharp knife for this, nice heavy knife as well. Mine probably isn't big enough. Hopefully you're already a subscriber to my channel, but if you're not, why not give it a go? Why not click the subscribe button now? I've got tons of family-friendly recipes to share with you, tons of tips and tricks as well, and I'd love you to join me on the journey. So have a good go at the claws. You want probably a nice heavy knife or even a hammer to smash those to pieces before we pull out the claw meat. This is definitely something you don't want to be doing if you want to keep your worktop nice and tidy and clean. It's definitely wear an apron or some old clothes to do this because you're going to get lobster juice everywhere. And finally, just pull off the lobster legs, so you want to make sure you keep them as well. So onto the dish itself. So this is a dish that's going to cook pretty quickly once you're going, so it's best to get all the ingredients prepared up front. So we've started off by cutting up a whole red pepper, and then we're going to look at cutting up half an onion as well. Just roughly chopped is fine, doesn't need to be anything too finely done. Take 3 or 4 spring onions, and again we're going to roughly chop up those. And then we want a few cloves of garlic here, so I've got 3 cloves, just going to smash them a little bit and roughly chop them up as well. This sort of dish I actually prefer there to be slight chunks of garlic. It brings out the flavour a little bit more than just mincing up the garlic that just dissolves into a sauce. So next up is the cooking part. So to get us started, we're going to pop some egg noodles into a pan of boiling water. So these come in nests. A nest is typically sort of one person's portion, or 2 nests are a person's portion. So I'm popping in 5 or 6 nests here, and we're going to boil that for about 5 to 6 minutes. Then we're going to take a deep pan or a wok, pop some oil into it, heat it up, throw in the onion, and we're going to cook off the onion for a couple of minutes, just until it loses some of its firmness. Once that is ready, we're going to pop in the black bean sauce. So here it's worth just going to your local Asian supermarket and buying a jar of black bean sauce. It's not worth buying the black beans and doing it all yourself. Just save yourself the hassle. Just use a pre-bought black bean sauce, and you want to pop in sort of 5-6 tablespoons or so there, obviously dependent on how black beany you want it. But pop that, and you're going to cook that off for another couple of minutes, along with the red pepper. This really doesn't need to cook for long. You're just looking for the vegetables to start to cook down a little bit. And then we're going to pop in the lobster. So the lobster's already cooked, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Really now it's just about combining the ingredients. So that's looking pretty good at the moment, and then for some freshness we're going to just add in the spring onions, and then we're pretty much there, to be honest. So give that a final whiz around with the spoon. Make sure everything is covered. So it's time to plate up. Ordinarily I would mix the noodles into the sauce beforehand, but given that I've got the children eating this and maybe they don't want quite as much of the black bean sauce, I'm just going to plonk the noodles straight onto a plate. Next up we're going to pop the lobster on, so pull out the pieces of lobster from the pan and we're going to pop them onto the plate as well. Now this is definitely not the sort of family friendly meal that is budget friendly that I would normally cook on this channel, but given that it was for a special occasion, I think this is absolutely worth sharing. You could probably swap to be honest, you could swap out the lobster for shrimp, or you could swap it out for chicken, and it would still be an equally delicious meal. So there we go, there's the sauce on the top, and we're looking great now. So there we have it. That is my Chinese black bean lobster noodles. I really appreciate you making it all the way to the end of this video. I'll be back with more great recipes soon, but until next time, take care.